ladies and gentlemen, Thomas's Reading Room number 2. We're doing Through the Eyes, 2-year travel adventure story through America. I hope everybody's getting here okay. If you are here, I guess you had no problem. Thinking about, when we were out there in the wilderness, as you may speak, or the desert in this case, and it's night, you got the stars out, and you got this fire roaring, the wood is burning, and it's just that mystery that's in the air, that's in that southwestern part of the United States, and there's that immense freedom. And you play a guitar, you're the nice young lady. What a wonderful life. Well, let's get on to reading now. On the 1st of February, 1966. Saturday, awake to a new day, I begin to observe this body, listen, observe the sounds of a new morning. The silence, other than a few birds, serenade each other. Susan is awake, and we greet each other. I observe the self, being anxious to experience today, with every experience being a first experience. The morning is cool, and the sun has yet to make its way clear of the mountains. Susan and I dress ourselves, then crawl out of the tent. We walk over to the fire pit, and I observe the inside covered with a gray-white ash. I pick up a stick, move ash away from the middle of the fire pit, and observe some red-hot coals. Susan speaking. As Thomas fills a coffee pot with water and places it into the fire pit, I set a pot of quick oatmeal on the camp stove to cook. Then I butter 4 slices of bread and place 2 of them at a time into the skillet to make toast. Soon the food is ready to eat. Thomas brings a pot of hot water over to the table and pours it into 2 teacups. After breakfast, Thomas builds a fire and heats some water so I can clean the dishes. Thomas speaking. Later, Susan and I go for a walk on the road that circles the camp area. Thought sensations rapidly fill the field of the mind. The conscious brain describes everything the senses take in. I begin to work. I put thought away and allow what the senses take in to flow through the field of the mind. I do not contaminate what the senses take in with thoughts from the subconscious brain. Back at the campsite, thoughts flow through the field of the mind to be free, experience things, see them firsthand, to stretch, reach out to the sky, breathe fresh, clean air into the lungs, let the air out slowly. It is the life I want to know. And not only know, I want to know that I know, as there seems a great difference. Susan and I attach a water container by a rope and S-hook to the branch of the tree described earlier. Next, we hang 2 bamboo curtains at a 90-degree angle to each other around the water container, tying them to some branches. We shower with Susan being first, then we groom ourselves. After we bask in the sun for a short period, we agree to walk across the road to a small hill approximately 1/4 mile from the campsite. Once there, I help Susan learn how to fire a Colt .45 caliber pistol. She describes it as a cannon. The only time I have hunted a living thing is when employed in the United States Army in Vietnam. The last thing I would want to do is take life of any kind. However, visiting various forests, traveling on the roads throughout the USA, having a weapon such as a pistol leaves assuring thoughts about the safety of Susan and me. The presence of nothing else is a great degree of authority. We place a couple pieces of wood against a small mound of dirt, stand back approximately 50 feet, and prepare to fire the pistol. I give instructions to Susan on how to hold the pistol. She brought earplugs so as the noise will not damage the ears, though the noise does not seem to bother me. What did one say, Susan? I remember when I was in Vietnam, I do not recall anyone that wore earplugs or ear silencers. Thomas spends a lengthy time and goes over the functions of the awesome-looking pistol. He taught me the need to respect it, and now I'm going to use it. Thomas says, hold the pistol in the right hand. Place the left hand over the right with the right arm stretched out to the height of the shoulder. The pistol seems heavy to hold. I close the left eye, fix the right eye on the front sight, then down to the tab at the end of the barrel and onto the target. Thomas says, breathe in slowly, hold, then fire. That I do, squeezing the trigger. A round fires and there is a jolt in the arm as a bullet releases from the pistol and it misses its mark by at least a foot. Definitely the earplugs help muffle the sound, but the forceful sensation of impact are observable throughout this body. After a moment, Thomas speaks to me, pointing out that I did not hold the pistol steady. I would not have known this or where the bullet made its mark should Thomas have not told me. I had closed the eyes at the sound of the pistol firing. Thomas says, "It takes strength to hold it still, and one must keep the eyes open if one is to hit at what one is aiming." I'm amazed how the pistol already automatically cocked itself back, ready to fire again. I listen to Thomas instruct me as I fire the 6 rounds that remain, and I hit the wood 3 times. Thomas loads the clip with 7 bullets. He assumes a solid stance and seems extremely still as he aims. He fires all the bullets successfully, and I observe the wood move 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Thomas says, "Not a bad shot group." As he was firing, I observed he was confident, smooth, in a rhythm. It looks so easy and simple. I can see the strength in the arm and hand and the calculations in aiming, which Thomas wastes no time in doing. He says, "I like to fire on the move," as he loads the clip with 7 bullets and slides the clip into the pistol. Thomas talking. We walk back to the campsite and Susan prepares dinner. Tonight we're having dinner early to see should the theory I hold be true. For dinner we will have instant potatoes, corn, bread, and water. We sit ourselves down at the table and enjoy a well put together meal, and yes, free of intruders of any kind, especially those small reddish brown bugs we experienced yesterday. I build a fire in the pit, warm some water and bring it to a boil. Susan cleans the dishes and I keep after the fire. I put things back in Howard that we will not need tonight, for early in the morning we will head out to Phoenix and engage in a flea market. The evening presents itself. The sun moves toward the horizon and a couple of mountains stand directly in its path. Susan and I spend some time around the fire and we observe the stars and a thin slice of the moon. Suddenly, we hear sounds of something running on the other side of the road. I take the .45, carefully run over toward the place I think the sounds are coming from and keep an eye on Susan in the campsite. I observed myself living, thinking like I had to think when I was in Vietnam. All that training is coming alive. The senses are keen, alerted. I watch, scan, listen to every sound. The information flows into the brain faster than I'm able to describe. I soon realize that the sounds are nothing more than hooves from cattle racing down a dry creek bed on their way home. I walk back to the campsite and inform Susan. We sit by the fire until every log burns, then we conclude the day. February 2nd, Sunday. I wake early as if I have programmed myself to get up at a specific time. With a flashlight, I go outside the tent as Susan begins to roll and to tie the sleeping bags. We put the bedding in Howard, disassemble the pyramid and tent, then place the pyramid parts on top of Howard in the tent and back. We wash the face and hands, get in Howard, and I start the engine. Susan and I greet Howard to the new day, and the 3 of us are off to Phoenix. We arrive at Greyhound Racetrack, where they hold a flea market every Saturday and Sunday. There are vehicles that wait in a line. They stop, move, then stop again as they inch their way toward the ticket booth. I pay $8 at the booth for a 10 by 10 foot space. Once at the space, we do not get out of Howard because the morning darkness is still present. I observe it does not seem to bother most dealers or buyers as they walk around with flashlights. The dealers look for things to buy at low prices and then turn them around for a profit. The buyers are here before anyone else in hopes they will find what they are looking for before the dealer gets hold of it, where the buyer in turn would pay a higher price. It seems extremely primitive, clearly expressing greed and selfishness, instilling the need for understanding oneself. The sun appears at the horizon and no clouds are visible. Susan and I get out of Howard and set up a table where we lay out various materials about the church. We put out the 2 signs at an angle on both ends of the table. More people arrive and begin to look at the many items that are available. Many people are considerately polite when they pass and observe the church display. We ordain one minister and the day concludes around 1:30 p.m. We pack the materials in Howard and I drive to where Susan resides. There, we sit in Howard and talk. Then Susan gets out and takes personal items with her. I drive over to visit with a person who, in his way, has helped me in the midst of struggling to survive. After a short visit, I drive to the office, park Howard, carry a sleeping bag, pillow, toiletry items, and lay down inside the office. I walk across the street to a 24-hour convenience store and buy a newspaper and a carton of milk. The night is present and everything seems normal for a Sunday evening on the north side of Phoenix. I walk back across the street, climb the steps, and sit on the second floor walkway facing the street. There is a light overhead, so I can read the newspaper without straining the eyes. The thoughts of leaving Phoenix, traveling, give warm sensations and peace of mind. I enjoy Phoenix very much in one point of view. However, the futility seems great and outweighs what little truth there may be. I never had an experience of a place that I'm able to remember where there were so many rattlesnakes. Arizona remains a place where good people and outlaws reside. I walk to the office and conclude the day. February 3rd, Monday. I awake early with a clear, silent mind and tentatively aware brain. Crawling out of the sleeping bag, I partially dress myself. Taking a big bag of toiletry items, I open the door, check to see that no one is in sight, then walk next door to the men's room. Once inside, I wash and shave, then go back to the office. I roll the sleeping bag and finish dressing. Standing in the office with the wheels of the subconscious presenting the past few months into the field of the mind, I relive the past. In leaving the office, I drop the keys on the floor, and there comes a smile of sureness, strength that sweeps across his face. Locking the door, I go outside, walk down the steps and over to Howard. Opening the door, I get in to start the engine, then drive to a gas station and fill the tank with regular gas. I check the air in the tires and bring each tire to 40 pounds. I drive from the gas station to where Susan resides and observe the door to the house is open. Susan, I'm so excited about leaving, I've barely rested. I get up to shower and eat, then gather the few things I would take with me. I open the front door and observe a beautiful morning. Take in a few breaths of air, then go back inside and finish packing. Soon I hear the familiar sound of dear, sweet Howard arrive in front of the house. I walk outside and head toward Howard as Thomas gets out. We greet each other to the seemingly beautiful day, then walk inside. Thomas takes 2 small duffel bags in one hand, another bag in the other, and carries them to Howard. I look around the house and lock the door as some people do before leaving a place they are not sure they will return to. I'm ready to leave. I walk over to where Thomas places the bags in Howard and I say, "It sure is good. I do not have much more to add to what we are already taking." I think to myself, poor Howard, all this weight. I observe the tires. They seem so weighted down. Howard smiles from headlight to headlight and he seems to be saying, "Yeah, this is the day. Let's go." Thomas speaking. We get in Howard and I hand a map to Susan. I drive us to a couple of places where we cut the last proverbial strings to Phoenix. Afterward, we stop at a drugstore and treat ourselves to a delicious ice cream cone. I drive west on Thomas Road to I-17 where I discover an on-ramp going south is closed to traffic. I drive down some side streets working south until we reach Van Buren, a main artery consisting of car lots, hotels, motels, and ladies of the night. I drive west on Van Buren to I-17 where I turn Howard south onto the freeway. I entertain the thoughts that Phoenix has a worse traffic system. The city is laid out conveniently enough, having a central avenue pointing north and south, the streets to the east and that parallel central are numbered streets. The streets to the west are numbered avenues. The streets pointing east and west are named streets. The freeway has intersections spaced 1 mile apart and the on and off ramps have signal lights. If a person is driving on the overpass and plans to turn left onto the freeway, they may have to stop. A person comes from the other way and plans to turn right. He must stop if the light is red, then turn if the way is clear. Should they plan a left turn, they will stop at one light and, due to heavy traffic, stop at another light on the other side of the overpass before they can turn left onto the freeway. Let us not forget the guy who just wants to continue without making a turn of any kind. Visualize that this is taking place at both ends of the overpass. Should there be such a thing as mass confusion? This is it. There is another item worth mentioning. The city is 97%, approximately, without left turn signals at this time. One vehicle may complete a left turn on yellow. Should someone be coming from the other way, traveling an estimated 50 miles per hour with a speed limit of 40 and running the yellow light, then a left turn could not be completed. Usually a second vehicle may complete a left turn, though commonly by that time the lights are red. However, the authorities say that if the car is in the intersection, it may complete the turn. Of course, if they are cracking down on left turns, you would be taking another calculated risk. On Friday evening, I was riding with a friend, and in 1 mile we counted 6 wrecks. All were left turns and situations. A person reported to me once that the authorities say the reason for no left turn signals is to discourage people from making left-hand turns. Perhaps that person was joking. In any event, I would like to think so. I turned off the freeway onto a road that leads to Highway 387, though as I talked with Susan, I managed to drive through the intersection, not noticing the turn. After I drive a short distance, we look on the map and realize we have traveled too far. We arrive at Highway 287, where I drive east for a short distance, then turn onto a road that heads north, another road east, and finally we arrive at a town with the title of Florence. That is close to Highway 89. I find 89, and after we travel a few blocks, Susan realizes we are going north, back to Phoenix. I turn Howard around and head south en route to Tucson. After an hour or so of frustration, we are on a main highway and Tucson lay not too far ahead. We travel a mile and Susan gives notice she needs to use a bathroom. I have learned that women, when traveling, need to use a bathroom an awful lot. I drive off to the side of the road, stop by some large shrubs, bushes. Susan gets out and does what everyone has done one time or another. I hear her say, "Ouch!" and I begin to laugh. When she gets back in Howard and we are again moving down the 2-lane road, we begin to laugh as she tells me there were thorns there. After all the frustration we have experienced, the laugh seemed like a good release and in order. Soon we arrive at the outskirts of Tucson. I drive to the side of the road, park, and we look over an atlas for areas to camp in nearby forest. There seems only one area close to Tucson, and that is Mount Lemmon. Looking at a street map of Tucson, we choose River Road as a way to arrive at the mountains. I drive on River Road a considerable distance, and we discover that due to the expansion of Tucson, the map is not entirely correct. River Road ends, and it will seem we are nowhere near Mount Lemmon. I continue to drive, make a few turns, drive down a few roads, and arrive at a dead end. I turn around, drive back out the road, and we come to an intersection with a gas station on 3 corners. This will be a good place to get instructions and fill Howard's tank. One gas station advertises $1.26 a gallon for regular, another $1.16, and the one we go to $1.06. I get out of Howard and fill the tank with regular. Then as I pay the employee, I ask should he know of any camping areas where one does not have to pay a user's fee. He says, Mount Lemmon is the only place close to Tucson. He gives directions to arrive at Mount Lemmon from here. I thank him kindly, get in Howard, and drive toward Mount Lemmon. The night makes its debut, and it is difficult to read signs. Driving on Catalina Highway a distance, I observe a sign off to the left that reads, Mount Lemmon. I make a left turn and travel a straight road for a mile. Then we begin to ascend the mountain. I entertain thoughts we are traveling too far to drive back and forth to Tucson. Soon we come to a sign that reads Molino Camp and an arrow pointing to the left of us. I turn, drive down a narrow road and end up a small hill that Howard barely climbs without stalling. I continue to drive, arriving at a point where the road goes around and joins itself again. As I drive farther, and with the use of a flashlight, we can see that there is only one suitable place to camp. I drive close to a cement wall approximately 3 feet high and stop. There is a concrete table, barbecue stand, and a spot where we will establish the tent. To the right of the area is a gulch with a stream flowing out of it. There is no doubt we are on the side of the mountain. I begin to level an area for the tent as Susan holds the flashlight. The weather is seemingly cold. Susan's nose is draining, she has a sore throat, and I'm blessed with sinus. I only want to set the tent up and get warm and take care of other things tomorrow. Susan speaking. Thomas and I pitched a tent. Neither of us are happy about having to do this in the dark. All the way up here, I think now and then it is the fault of me for us missing the turnoff back at Highway 387. As we place the bedding in the tent, I monitor Thomas to see if he seems bothered. Considering the location and time, Thomas is pleasant to be with, and with that, I am relieved. I do not enjoy causing discomfort for either of us, and I am happy he is not upset. I think he has a positive outlook on the 2-year venture, and he is not going to allow things to get the best of him. Thomas. We bring the lanterns inside the tent to keep us warm if the night air gets too cold. We crawl into the sleeping bag with the comforter directly over us and sleeping bag on top. When we get comfortable, we hear the sound of raindrops landing on the tent. Susan falls asleep immediately as I begin to listen to a wind, a sound I have not heard for some time. The wind works its way from the top of the mountains down through the gulch, then comes around a corner where it gives a gust that seems to snap the tent in two. I will die to the day and awake to a new day, seeing everything as for the first time. Okay, folks, that's it. We want to shut this off and get going on February 4th in the next video. Thank you.